Time again for another great candidate conversation here, and I have an opportunity to introduce you to Charles Rhodes. He's running for Mason County Clerk. How you doing, Charles?
Doing well, Jeff.
Good
Thank
to
you.
see you again.
You too, sir.
You're running for Mason County Clerk.
I am, sir. Yes.
What is the clerk's job?
The clerk job, they have three essential responsibilities. One being collection of debts that is administered by the court. They are responsible for jury management, both in the superior and district court, and they receive, record, and preserve documentation that arrives from the court that is handed down by the court.
Tell me a little bit about what your experience, your background brings to the clerkship.
Well, first of all, my background is in excess of 40 years in finance. I've been an accountant since 1979. I am also a licensed investigator as well as a certified fraud examiner.
What are some of the things that you're seeing currently in the clerk's office that made you decide to run for this?
Well, approximately a year ago, some of the concerned citizens in Mason County came up to me and was concerned regarding what was happening within the clerk's office and asked if I would consider running. I did an investigation to get some sort of an idea as to what we were talking about.
Sure.
Because I wasn't sure if the clerk position would be right for me. I, in turn, decided that they were right on. They were. So what I did was.
What were some of those concerns?
Concern was well, I ended up pulling it, but through the Administrative Office of the Courts, it showed that our accounts receivable is about $41 million not collected. We also have over 3 million unscanned documents upstairs. My opponent, over the last 5 years, she was appointed when Ginger Brooks left. She, in turn, ran unopposed the second go round, so she was automatically just basically put in there.
Mm-hmm.
The accounts receivable, or pardon me, the debts that we collect, it just progressively got worse and worse and worse and worse.
Where do these debts come from?
They come from the courts.
Okay.
They come from the courts hand down. For example, at a superior court level, if you were fined or you had to make some sort of restitution part of your case,
right.
It would go through the superior court, and we would collect that debt. You have two issues with the statute of limitations is 10 years. You can submit it back to the court for an additional 10 years, so there's a 20-year statute of limitations that you're able to collect on monies owed to the court. Superior court is what we collect those debts for, which deals with fines, levies, restitutions, judgments. That is part of the clerk's responsibility. Part of the clerk's responsibility to do.
And then you mentioned some documents that aren't into the system yet. So kind of a overview or kind of a whole total rehab of
Right.
What's going on there with the paperwork.
As of 2020, they had an assessment, and they were almost 3 million at that time. They did not digitize or modernize the streamlined procedures of those documents. So what we're basically saying is, I have an idea of how I want to streamline that information, and I want to get it from upstairs. I want to increase storage. I want to have everything from upstairs, documented, modernized, plus all microfilm, everything on the microfiche as well.
Do you think people understand what the clerk's job is in the county?
I don't think so. I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. There is absolutely no reasons, if you will. Uh, I'm going to give you an example of what happened, and this was pretty much a straw that broke the camel's back for me, and that was that uh, we ended up making when our sheriff's department made an arrest on an individual on a quashed warrant that all they had to do was notify the sheriff's office from the clerk's office,
Mm-hmm.
and we would have been done. Instead, what happens is you, myself, Julie, we end up paying so that this goes away. Um, Everything that I am telling you, I can prove. Um, for example, uh, one of the individuals he was arrested on a felony. Uh, he there was no warrant. It was confirmed that there was. So when he came back and he kept saying, "This warrant is quashed. This warrant is quashed." Well, in accordance with the risk management manager, uh, we settled for we paid him off at $2,500. Now $2,500 doesn't sound like a whole heck of a lot of money when you pardon me when you're looking at the scheme of things. However, it is because uh, the clerk doesn't pay for that. You and me do.
Right, right.
We do. So those are some of the issues that we're concerned about.
What would be kind of your priority list if you were to get this position? What would be kind of the first things that you would want to do, and how would you go about digitizing, 3 million plus documents?
Well, first of all, what happens is, as far as digitizing, uh, we could either A, bring in some temporary assistance to be able to help us do that. We could there's a company and let me back up. In 2020, they had someone come up there and they were going to, they gave them a quote. Nothing ever happened. Nothing ever got better. Everything just stayed there. They didn't want to. They didn't want to. The clerk's office did not want to spend the money. So that being said, the clerk's office. How can I say? The clerk's office did not digitize, did not streamline any of those. What we did was as I looked at the cost of everything, which is approximately $100,000 to do the entire digitizing what did those 3 million records. Um, a lot of times, the court is not even they can't even find the information until they're spending hours and hours and hours searching for these particular documents. Say, for example, one of our judges asked for an individual case number 21 dash 3 dash 547 dash 23, 23 being our county. We can't find it, and he needs that within a timely fashion.
Sure.
We need to be able to gain access at a reasonable amount of time.
How's the reception been out there as you kind of tell people that you're running for the clerkship?
Excellent, excellent, absolutely excellent. I'm just over the moon with the support that I have, and being an accountant for so many years, I was a bit surprised that they would see me as a clerk. But the clerk needs financial leadership. That is one thing. I've been in business for a long time. I do present that leadership. My whole campaign runs on leadership, integrity, and accountability. Those three items, and they don't have that. I can go into an employee can go into the office and ask a question to the clerk, and it may be different than it's going to be tomorrow. They don't have a standard operating procedure for what is expected of the clerk, whether it be in criminal, civil, jury management. they don't have that. They run by the seat of their pants. That's not something that my wife and I, we've been in business for 28 years together. And I have never, ever, seen such a disorganized and dysfunctioning office.
You're online, social media. People can find you. What you have a website that people can go to, or on Facebook they can search for you.
On Facebook, yes. It's Charles Rhodes. Elect Charles Rhodes at uh, gmail.com.
Okay, very good. These candidate conversations continue on, and I'm happy to introduce you to Charles Rhodes, who again has put his hat into the ring for Mason County Clerk. Thank you.